that was the scariest thing to move from, to be self-motivated and to really know that if you're putting your heart into something and you're putting your faith into that and you're giving it your best, I'm a firm believer that God sees you, God hears you, and He'll bless whatever endeavor you're pursuing.
My name is Matt Davis. Welcome to Made in Burleson. I have the Nathan Uranga with Trophy First Fence and Construction with me. I'm so excited to get to talk to you today. So, hey, Nathan, tell us all about Trophy First, man.
Okay, man. My name is Nathan. I've had the business now going on 7 years.
Okay.
We specialize in fencing. That's kind of our thing. Every single kind of fencing. I get the question all the time, do you just do this? Do you just do that? No, we do every type of fencing. Believe it or not, there are several.
Hold on. So you do every kind, like what's the question? I mean, like residential versus commercial?
Yeah, or they might be, hey, do you do chain link?
Okay.
Or hey, do you do ranch fencing? Or hey, do you do warehouse fencing? Hey, do you do privacy fencing, or do you only do,
Okay.
So it's, we do it all. We have skills and trained in all of it.
Cool.
So other than that, we venture out and we do a little bit more. We don't really advertise for it, but if we're on a job and customer happens to need some help with something that's outdoor construction, we can help them with those sort of things too.
So
Decks, pergolas, patios, concrete, landscaping. Pretty much if it's outside, tree work, get a lot of tree work. Pretty much if it's outside, we can take care of you.
Yeah. Well, okay. I mean, good to know.
Yeah.
Y'all do everything.
Yeah, we try.
Just tell me what you don't do, and then.
Right. Well, if we listed everything we did, the business cards they don't make them big enough. So
Right.
we just stick to fencing. Our actual registry with the state and our LLC is in fencing.
Okay.
So we try to stick with what we're best at.
All right. Excellent. And you said you've had the company for how many years now?
7 years. It's
7
going
years.
into my 7th year. Yes, sir.
And you started the company.
Started it all by myself. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about that. Like, tell me the inspiration behind.
Well, I had a lot of odd and end kind of jobs. I've always been the kind of guy that's not afraid to get his hands dirty, not afraid to roll his sleeves up and kind of do the stuff that, maybe a lot of people won't do. Labor, a lot of labor type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And from, the time I got to kind of working age, I didn't ever really pick a trade. I just kind of freelanced, and I was just worried about making money to pay bills, right?
Yeah.
Then the next phase of your life comes. You have children, have a child, maybe want to get married, things like that where life gets serious. Mm-hmm. And then you sit back and you think, okay, now I really got to figure out how I can, not only support yourself anymore, but now you're supporting other people. And you're trying to build a future for those people too, along with yourself. So, me personally, funny story, I was working at Walmart in the distribution center.
Okay.
My wife at the time was pregnant with my first son, my only child. I have one child, he's a son. So the shifts were a little harder. I was night shift, so I would go to work around 4 o'clock in the morning. I would get home around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I wanted all the work I could get, knowing, going into having a child and, your wife being pregnant and all those things, there's so much stuff that you just don't really plan for until it happens, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I was working, kind of that graveyard shift schedule, and the pay was okay. It wasn't great, but the big motivation for me was I would go to work there every day, and it's a great job. A lot of great people work there. I mean, it was really, really cool. Great insurance, great benefits. That company, they take care of their employees. I just felt in my heart that there was something more for me personally.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with being, an hourly guy or a person that works in an assembly line or anything like that. We need that type of stuff. Is kind of what built America, right? But
Right.
me personally, I was seeing a lot of folks that just weren't happy with what they were doing. They were doing it because they had to do it. It was almost gave me a feeling of you don't have a choice. You just have to do what you have to do to survive.
Punching a clock and
Yeah.
that's it. There's no passion.
There's no passion, and you can be, no matter if you're great at it or not great at it, it didn't matter. You just show up, and just do what you're asked to do, and then go home, and then come back and do it all again. That being said, I worked there for quite a while, and one day I just kind of started thinking, if this is what my future is going to be, and when my child gets here, I don't necessarily want him to, miss out on cool, important things that maybe my own parents missed out on with me, because they had the job where you don't really get to plug into your family as much as I would have liked them to as a kid.
Okay.
So I kind of use that to motivate myself to, hey, I want to be the dad that has the freedom to coach the little league teams, and has the, freedom to take his wife on a quick little lunch date, in the middle of a work day.
Right.
Or, maybe can generate, enough business to where I could be a blessing to somebody else that maybe worked under me, or maybe teach them some different things. And I didn't really have fencing in mind whenever I, went for it. Like I said, I work a lot of odds and ends jobs, when I got to my adult years. But fencing was something that I was familiar with. I had done it for a while. A family member had owned a fencing business when I was younger. I kind of helped out. I wouldn't say that I worked full time. I just kind of helped here and there. But I didn't really know a lot of guys doing it. And so I thought, well, I've got some knowledge in that. Let me try to put, these tools to work and see if that would happen. So I didn't immediately quit my Walmart distribution center job.
Right.
I kind of tried to sit down and make a plan. I went through LegalZoom. That's a big help. LegalZoom plug. If you need help starting your own business, LegalZoom. That's what you do. They were awesome to work with. They helped line me out with, stuff that I don't understand, like business filings and business managers and taxes and accounting and all that extra stuff that goes into working for yourself. So I just slowly kind of tried to save some money and put some money back until I could earned enough of a savings account to splurge on buying an LLC, and then buying tools, buying the things you need to go into business. I started by myself, just me, the knowledge that I had gained, some tools, and a can-do attitude. I was part of a really awesome church community who I was in a small group with some people, and kind of talked through them with kind of the direction that I wanted my life to go, and they gave me the encouragement. They gave me the kind of the push that I needed, in the right direction, instead of worrying about, I have some comfortability here and I have a check coming in every week.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the scary part.
Yeah.
No matter if your check's for, $100 or $100,000, I know every week I'm getting a check. That was the scariest thing to move from, to be self-motivated and to really know that if you're putting your heart into something and you're putting your faith into that and you're giving it your best, I'm a firm believer that God sees you, God hears you, and He'll bless whatever endeavor you're pursuing. If you do it wholeheartedly. There's a lot of businesses that fail maybe because people don't put, adequate time in, or maybe they have too much going on.
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys who have 2 or 3 small businesses, and it seems like they do great, but when you go eat lunch with them, it's like, man, can you enjoy this bite you're about to take? Because you got 4 phones lined up on the table, and so
it's not just about business.
No, it's not about business. It's about the lifestyle that I wanted. I wanted to be a plugged-in dad. I wanted to be a plugged-in husband. I wanted to be plugged into our community as well. Yeah. I grew up here in Burleson, so it was important to me to, give back or help any way that I could. From small things like joining the Chamber of Commerce to, helping. I can't tell you how many footballs we've paid for on Friday nights that the cheerleaders throw in the stands. Helping out with quarterback club. So many benefit tournaments for golfing that happens in the community. It's $100 to stick your sign out there on a tee box, but you're supporting your community. You're supporting the cause that is. So that was really important to me too, to use some motivation through, not just the dollar bill,
Right.
but how can I leave something to my son? How can I make a staple in the community? How can I go from, no offense, but at Walmart, working for a big corporate company like that, I mean, everybody was just ants. I mean, everywhere. You walk into a warehouse that's 1 million, square feet by 1 million square feet, and you look around and you're just like, oh my gosh, look at all these worker bees, So a lot of times, even the best guy on the floor would kind of get overlooked because, he's just doing what he's supposed to be doing.
Right.
I wanted to make an impact in my family more than anything.
And it sounds like you're looking to create a legacy. That's kind of what I hear. That like it's something to pass on, something to make a mark.
Yeah.
And I love that because in the end, I don't know about you, but I'm gonna die one day.
Yeah.
And it is.
Unfortunately,
that's how it's gonna go.
That's how it goes.
And with the limited time that we have, I mean, we can only do so much.
Right.
So what are you passing on to the next? I mean, what are you building?
Now I'm sure you're also a small business owner, so there are times where it's like, man, I'd rather just zip this thing up and go back to that job where you could just count on that money every week and so on and so forth. But whenever when I'm doing things in the community, when I'm serving others, is those moments when I look up and I think, this is why I do what I do, because that's really where, and I think it's this way for a lot of people that are small business owners, that's what fills my bucket. Not just necessarily the money or how much money can I make or what kind of legacy can I leave. It's right now, what kind of impact have I left on that person, right? What does my son see me doing,
Because he's watching.
He's watching, no matter what. What is my community, what does my, church family see? Just so many different ways that you can give back, and make it something that, really helps people.
Yeah. No, I love that. So, okay, so you took the leap.
Mm-hmm.
Why the name Trophy First? Why was that important?
Well, again, when you register an LLC, you'd be amazed that there are millions of LLCs out there, especially in the state of Texas, so many. So when you go through picking a name, you've got to submit it to the state, and then they'll kick it back to you and let you know it's taken or it's not taken. I probably went through 20 names, and every one of them got kicked back like, nope, that's in Odessa, Texas, and nope, that one's in Argyle, and nope, that's in Rock. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. I liked Trophy Fence, but there was already a trophy fence. So, just kind of kicking around some ideas with some folks, and they're like, I sent off to the state, I don't even remember the name, and then they sent back a couple that were available. And I learned that a lot of people put the word first kind of in there, not necessarily to be first or second or third. It doesn't really mean that. It's just, kind of like First National Bank of Texas.
Right.
Probably could have been National Bank of Texas, but there's already a National Bank of Texas. So just slap first on there, right?
There you go.
Although I've never heard of a second National Bank of Texas.
It's a fair point.
So that's kind of how it came about. I liked Trophy Fence. I'm a outdoors kind of guy.
Yeah.
I like hunting, fishing, things like that. So I just kind of threw the word first in there and hoped it would stick, and then they emailed me back, said, hey, that one's good to go. I said, okay, let's go with it.
I like it.
Yeah.
I know a lot of way back in the day with the phone book, like that used to be, if your business was listed first, you were the one who was getting the phone calls.
I think you could pay a little extra back then to get that.
Well, so what most businesses would do is they would put the letter A in the front of the name.
Oh, that makes
And so
sense.
if someone had A, just one, they'd put 2 A's because then you'd get bumped up a little. So.
A little business knowledge right there. Love that.
I mean, next time you're listed in the phone book,
Yeah.
I'm
going to make a call as soon as we leave here today.
Southwestern Bell. How can I? Okay, so you started the business. Obviously it's grown. I mean, it's not just you anymore. So what do you find is like the biggest struggle as you're trying to lead teams and other people? Like where you kind of find that this is the hard part for me?
The hard part is dealing with unforeseen problems. You know, you could wake up one morning and have your day planned out perfectly, and everything, you know, you hope falls right in line. But it never fails. Never, ever fails that some curveball from left field is coming.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That happens to you?
Yeah, it could be a small one, you know, that only costs you an hour or two of your time. It could be a big one that takes, you know, days to sift through. Yeah. People. I used to be, I'm kind of proud of my growth in an area of, when I first started my business, I was so driven and I was so competitive and motivated. So I didn't realize that life happens to people. I was so solely focused on me and my family and what I need. It took me a while to learn that, you know, if, you know, George is late, maybe it's not worth, you know, ripping George, you know, a new one and making sure that his time is set right. You know, maybe George had a bad morning. I know I've had bad mornings, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Anything from kids being sick to oversleeping to, you know, it's raining this morning. You know, who left their dogs outside? I did. So guess what I get to do when I get home? I get to watch the dogs to bring them in, right? So life happens to people. And I've found that it's easier to keep people. Now, I don't want to say let them run you over, right? It's not an excuse every day kind of thing, but it's okay every now and then to just, you know, take that breath and just understand that, hey, this is just life.
No, not everybody's at 100% all the time.
Yeah, and you got so many different parts, right? So many different people, so many different personalities, so many different goals, so many different visions. And as the kind of the leader of all that, you got to figure out, you know, my vision is great for me, but, you know, George's vision might not be the same as mine, right? I would love to keep him around for years and years and years, but one day I hope that he does better himself. You know, working for a contractor, you kind of can cap yourself out, right? That's why a lot of guys in contracting start their own business, you know, to get to that next level. So I'd say the hardest part is just being able to put your pride aside and just be able to deal with people's life problems.
I love that. I think that's it doesn't matter what industry you're in.
No.
Because you're going to deal with people eventually.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter, you know, it's not necessarily employees, you know, it could be customers.
Yeah.
It could be finances.
Yeah.
It could be, I mean, you know, getting permits. I mean, there's a plethora of things that can go wrong, you know, or that could, you know, kind of be that fork in the road, like, oh man, I didn't see this popping up. Now how am I going to deal with this?
I think it's funny usually when you're at the point where you're working the hourly or the salary job and you're like, I want to start my own small business. Like people always say, I can't wait to work for myself. I don't have to work for somebody. And I found that the jump is, instead of having one boss that I talk to, now I've got 100 bosses because I'm looking at all my customers.
You know, it's easier too, kind of. I mean, not to discourage anybody if you're thinking about starting your own business, it's worth it. But remember this, when you're your own boss, you're not really your own boss. It's just you never get any time off, right? So, you know, it's great to be able to get out there and coach my son, you know, in his youth sports that he does. But at any given moment, this thing's ringing and it's, oh my gosh, I forgot to call that customer back. Or, oh my goodness, you know, this could be, you know, our Christmas bonus right here on this call. Should I take it? Do I pause it? Do I send it to voicemail? You know, so you're constantly kind of fighting within yourself of really not having any time off, not truly being able to unplug, you know. We say that, but at the end of the day, if you're the guy with your name on it, it's got to keep going.
Yeah.
And you're the only person that's going to keep it going.
The buck stops here.
Exactly right. Exactly.
Yeah, and it's funny too when you say yes to the phone call or whatever, you're saying no to something else. And are you saying it to your family? Are you saying it to?
Hard, yeah.
Are you saying it, you know, to the customer that might give you the Christmas bonus? Like, where do you know how to draw the line?
Sure.
Have you figured out a system on it?
I really haven't. I definitely would suggest not doing it when you're spending time with your wife.
Oh,
that would be rule number one.
Write that down.
Do not take work calls when you're spending time with your wife. I've learned that.
Yeah.
So I won't do that. Secondly, have some boundaries. You know, I mean, it's one thing to be, you know, if it's, I would love to say that I kind of try to shut it down around 5 p.m. You know, that way I can get into dad mode, get into that family mode for the next couple hours, whatever that looks like for whatever our evening is asking us to do. But at the same time, I have this internal struggle of, you know, that customer needs my attention right now, or I'm afraid to upset them. I'm worried about a bad review. I'm worried about what if they don't pay on time. I'm worried about, so it's really, really, really important to draw those boundaries. Yeah. And with all those thoughts and all that stuff that you got to deal with, you just got to, I mean, I've learned that that stuff's going to be there tomorrow. I don't necessarily have to fix it right now. And if what I'm doing is, like you said, saying no to somebody else, do I really want work to come in of, you know, quality time with my kids? No. Do I want work to get in the way of quality time with my wife? Absolutely not. Yeah. So it's a really fine line that you got to kind of juggle and you got to kind of walk. And also, you know, it's good to, you know, have a you know, your kiddos or your wife, you know, they know what you do. So if they have a little bit of understanding and can give a little bit of grace, you know, that goes a long ways, because we won't really say it a lot. We're not really like, you know, hey honey, give me 5 minutes. I have to take this call. It's super important. Yeah. You know, I'm almost kind of scared to say that because I don't want to get myself in the doghouse or something, because I don't want to make her feel like, oh, well, I'm not important. Right. Well, that's not what I mean by that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's always, you're always playing these games with yourself to try to figure out the best way to do it. And I don't know what to tell you is the best way, because I think everybody's kind of different. Go with what works. Yeah. But whatever you are giving attention to, right, is what you're going to succeed at. So what are you feeding? If we're at practice, you know, and my phone's ringing, I started leaving my phone. I pull a little buggy around with me, or a little wagon. I call it a buggy. I'm sorry. You know the little wagon. You see all the teams and the parents with the wagon. I have a wagon. So I just started leaving my phone in the wagon. Okay. And even, you know, taking my watch off, because you know, even I can look down like this, and even looking at something, it's like, oh, especially if it's maybe you left work early, but you left what needed to be done in somebody else's hands, right? But then you get that call. Do I want to take this right now and get myself all worked up? And just, no, keep it in the buggy. Deal with it when this is over with. So that's been a constant learning, you know, process there, but you got to know when to turn it off, for sure. Yeah, no, and that's not just looking out for today, because if all you had to worry about was today, knock it all out, let's get it done. But over time, there's only so much of you to go around, and work will never pour into you the way your family can. No, absolutely not. And I think I heard you say earlier, you know, you would wish that your family was involved when you were younger. And it feels like that made an impression. Big time. You want to be a part of that. Like you don't want to set that example for your kiddo. And it's not that it's a bad thing, because I know a lot of folks out there, you know, are career driven, and that's great. That is awesome. But to me personally, yes, I only get one shot at being a dad, right? Yeah. You get one shot at having a successful family. Right. Right? Yeah. Businesses come, businesses go, unfortunately. You know, I hope nothing ever happens to mine, but if something happened and I had to, you know, start a new venture or in a different avenue, I would be able to do it. You know, things like being able to be a dad all over again, you don't get that chance. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Getting a new family or a new wife doesn't really ever happen, you know? So you really got to try to have some balance and some boundaries to where you're kind of protecting what you're building. Because I say this all the time to my wife, you know, if I'm not at my best, how can I expect the people that work for me to be at their best, right? Because they're counting on me every day. If I'm late to a job with materials, guess who's going to be late tomorrow to the job to do the install? Yeah, they're watching you to set the example. Exactly right. You know, if I'm out, you know, coaching my son on a team and I stop and I walk off the field to take a call, how's that going to make all those, you know, 15 other kids standing out there feel I'm not important? Whatever's on the other end of that phone is way more important than me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I try to limit that kind of stuff, unless it's just an absolute emergency. Sure. Yeah. But for the most part, that's why we do it, right? Yeah. So we can have those moments. Yes, 100%. So. Family is important.
Okay, so let's say that you were talking to young Nathan, still working at the Walmart, and waffling back and forth on should I take the leap, should I not? And this is kind of what I'm thinking. Like, what advice would you give to someone that's want to start their own fence company? Like, what?
Don't be afraid of failure. I mean, that would be number one for me. You know, and not just with starting my own business. There's a lot of avenues in life where decisions are hard, decisions are scary, right? It's easier to play it safe.
Yeah.
You know, it's more secure to be safe. But you know, in those times when you take that leap of faith, is when you really get to see cool stuff happen. And I'm just blessed that God continues to let cool things happen to me. I mean, it's nothing that I do by myself. I promise you that. It takes a great team, takes an awesome wife, takes some really understanding kiddos, takes a really good, you know, support group. I've been able to be a part of some really amazing small groups with some, I mean, straight difference maker kind of people, you know. So just looking back, I would say go for it. But make sure that you have a really good support system. Make sure the advice that you're getting is sound advice, right? Not just, you know, go for it to prove somebody wrong. I would say that would be the wrong thing to do, right? Do it for you.
So who did you seek counsel from? I know you said small group. Was there anybody else that you kind of talked to? Or?
Just, you know, some other guys that been in the business. You know, I saw some other guys kind of come up and do some stuff by themselves. And so, you know, I seeked out some of those. I have, you know, a couple people in my family who are entrepreneurs, so I was able to reach out to them and get some advice. But man, you know, most importantly, it was my church community, and it was the people that I was in the small group with, because, I mean, I doubted myself. I'm not, you know, super confident that it was going to pay off. Like that's the scary part, right?
Yeah.
Is, hey, I've got something really secure here.
Yeah.
You know, no matter how bad the hours are, or how much it takes out of me, or how much I have to miss out with family stuff, at least I know financially we're taken care of.
Right. There's security.
And that's the bottom line, right? That's what drives America, finance. You know, I wish that it was religion and that it was God, but unfortunately it's not.
Yeah.
So I knew that if I went into it wholeheartedly and I didn't give up, you know, I think a lot of people make mistakes of they get this great idea and they have a great model and a great plan and they go after it. And maybe they don't see that quick success they hope for, and then they give up and they shut the book, you know, and then could be years down the road, you never know. Yeah. That's one thing that I never was going to allow myself to do, was just give up. You know, now if it push come to shove and my family can't eat, then yeah, we got to make some changes. But I just firm believer, not just me, anybody in life, doesn't matter how old you are. You can be a 6-year-old kid, you can be a 60-year-old, doesn't matter. If you put all you got into something and you're doing it wholeheartedly and you have faith in it and you have that relationship with God and you leave it up to Him, I don't really know that I've seen anybody fail when that's their mindset going in. Now, has it been hard? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Really hard. Is it stressful? 100%. You know, am I riddled with anxiety every day? But at the end, I get to do something that I love. I get to do something where I can help people. I get to do something that my son, you know, hopefully will learn. And I hope he never takes over, but if he ends up wanting to, he has that option, right? Okay. It's not going to have the option of, I immediately have to go get a job, right? Or I immediately have to go to college, and then when I'm done with college, now what do I do? Yeah. Right? I kind of did this so that he could have maybe a fallback plan, you know? And if he says, Dad, I don't want to touch it, I never want to do it or be anything like that, okay, and then that's it, you know, that's totally fine with me. But the biggest thing is it just has helped me sustain a really solid relationship as a dad, a husband, and a father.
That's awesome.
And that to me is what's the most important. You know, the money's great. I wish I could say I'm getting rich. I'm not getting rich ever. But that's what people do a lot of things for, right? It's about the money, the money, the money, the money. To me, the money's great, you know, but at the end of the day, you just get one shot at life. And I don't want to, you know, be retired or be, you know, a senior and look back and think, man, I wish I would have been at that game. Or, man, I wish that I would have, you know, responded differently to my wife at the time. or man, I wish I would have taken her on that vacation that she begged me to take her on. You know, because you get one shot.
No regrets.
No regrets. That's it.
Have you seen that?
No.
It's the meme, and this guy's got a tattoo where it says,
Oh,
no
yes,
regrets
I have.
on it.
Yes, I have seen that one. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Man, I love that. You only get one shot at life, and that's beautiful.
It works for me. It's what keeps me going. But really, I mean, you know, I saw my dad work his tail off.
Yeah.
6 days a week. When I woke up, didn't matter how early in the morning I woke up, he wasn't home. And no matter how late I stayed, you know, up in the evenings to try to wait for him to get home from work, he just worked every day, all the time. Off on Sundays, you know, we got to spend a lot of quality time on Sundays, but you know that work week, those weekdays, you know, to me, as a kid growing up, was just as important as the Sunday time, you know, and I saw that he was happy with the life he could provide for us, but he was unhappy with the life he got to spend with us.
Interesting.
So that was kind of a big thing to me. I want to provide a good life for my family, but I also want to spend that good life with them that I'm providing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely it does. I love that.
Yeah.
That's profound.
Is it? I feel like it was a yogiism. I watched this
No.
documentary about Yogi Berra last night, and he has all these quirky sayings. So.
I really, when you said that, I heard Yogi Bear, not Yogi Berra.
Well, Yogi Berra was named after Yogi Berra.
Oh, well,
it's in the documentary. So, just saying.
If you call me Boo Boo, I know,
Hey,
I know
boo-boo.
what you're talking about. No, I really, I think that it's the things that happen to us in life that make an impact that we say, I'm going to be like this or I'm not going to be like this. And that's our choice to feed that or starve it, you know, and kind of pick that lane. So I love the knowing the why.
Sure.
Kind of behind
everybody has to have a why.
Well, some people don't know what it is.
Well,
sounds like you give it some thought.
They're missing out.
Yeah. No, that's great, and I mean being able to be there.
Yeah.
I mean whether that's sneaking a lunch date like you said,
right.
or getting to go to practice, or
or getting to be able to come do something like this with you. You
yeah.
know? I mean, being able to just be in the community. I mean, our community is growing rapidly, and we need more people plugged in to help people.
Yeah.
And to show people, how to lead, but not through finance. Maybe lead with your heart. Maybe help people that maybe you wouldn't help on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I could name so many guys right now that I look up to in our community that are just, doing awesome things. And they're not being paid for it. They're not getting anything out of it. They're not doing it for a reason. They're only doing it because they're great guys with huge hearts that just love this community.
Yeah. No, that's you're right. I mean,
yeah.
as it grows and changes, I mean, they're not going to know that you've been in business for as long as you
sure.
have.
Yeah.
So the more that we can talk about that and kind of bring it out there, I mean, people.
Well, and
people
try to motivate some people to get out there.
Yeah.
And if you got you've got an itch, scratch it. It's okay. It's okay to fail too, right? You don't learn anything by winning all the time.
You are 100%.
I had a great coach tell me this, and I tell it to kids I coach now, and you never lose, you just learn, right? Because before you can win, you got to learn how to lose. Before you can win, you got to learn how to win. You can't learn how to win if you don't lose. So nowadays we're in this. I want instant gratification. I want it now. I want it now. I want it now. He already has it. Why don't I have it?
Yeah.
Well, he has it because he's been doing the work.
Right.
He's lost a lot in his life. Let's root him on now that he's winning.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to instill that, in youth today. It's not about what he, she, him, or her has. What are you doing to get to where you want to go? Everybody's path is different. My path might not be cut out to be, some multi-million, corporate driven, awesome business owner with tons of stakes and, finance and stocks and all, that's probably not my life.
Yeah.
But for the guy that it is his life, awesome for him. I'm happy for him, proud of him. That's awesome. So
Don't compare yourself to who someone else is. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday.
Right. And you know, the things you struggle with today is not you're not going to struggle with them for forever. You know, there's a lot of days that things come onto my plate that I'm like, oh man, I didn't want to deal with this. How long is this going to last? You know, but
feels like forever.
Feels like forever, but it eventually fades away. It eventually goes away, and you can learn a lot from those kind of things. You know, things to, you know, that you can do better, or maybe things you thought you were doing great that really wasn't so great, and then you got to pull back a little bit, right? Because I've been that guy too.
Oh yeah.
You know, so it's just such a blessing to be able to work for yourself, but just don't be afraid of failure. We fail. We're gonna fail every day. We come up short every day.
Yeah.
So just keep going.
Love it.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you, Nathan.
Thank you, Matt.
I appreciate you just coming and, I mean, just pouring out gold here.
Is that gold?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's not been easy. I mean, you know this.
Yeah.
It's really good, and and if you put yourself around folks who are maybe traversing the same kind of stuff, that helps.
You're not alone.
Because you can really, it's really easy to isolate yourself. It's really easy to be the guy that feels like you're on this island, right? And there's just sharks all around you, and there's no way off.
Everybody else is doing great,
yeah,
and I'm sucking it up.
Let me tell you a secret. Nobody's doing great, okay? Nobody's doing great.
Okay.
Everybody wishes they were doing better. But be okay with where you're at.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It took me a long time to learn this because I used to not be this way. This is about year 4 or 5. I kind of started letting go of the reins a little bit, and kind of able to take that breath of, okay, if we don't get it done today, there is tomorrow. You know, as a customer, have I had some upset customers? Absolutely, no doubt about it. Have I, you know, tried my very best to make it all right? Absolutely, but that's all you can do.
Yeah.
You're gonna have people who, just for whatever reason, are not nice. You know, they're out there.
Yeah.
You know, and their whole MO is to wake up every day and prove people wrong and, you know, be Mr. Right Guy and all that stuff. You know, good for him. But at the end of the day, we are all, you know, only here for a short amount of time, and we get one shot. So I'm not going to get stuck in the rat race of chasing money or chasing a dollar bill, or, you know, arguing with a customer over Google or blasting somebody on Facebook. You know, or any of that stuff. It's just none of that's worth it.
Yeah.
You know, I always tell my customers, you know, hey, if there's something you don't like or something that maybe didn't go as planned or the way that maybe your vision was, bring that to us and give us opportunity to fix it before you just go
put it out to the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That we didn't do this or we didn't do that or we didn't ask this or we didn't ask that. Just give us an opportunity. And then after that opportunity is given, if we just straight up cold shoulder you, yeah, we deserve it. Go blast us.
Yeah.
But in this community and as many small businesses as there are around, you'd be amazed at how much people are willing to help you.
Very cool. And look forward to kind of building that network and that web. And,
yeah.
And
yep.
It too, like, even being in a similar industry, you will find that, I mean, good people and bad.
Well, and there's so many avenues, you know, in our own community alone. I'll be a little selfish and brag on the city of Burleson a little bit.
Sure.
There are a ton of networking groups that if you are new to your business, if you're thinking about becoming a small business owner, if you know you have that itch and you haven't scratched it yet, these places are open. And there are great people that are involved in them, that are running them. They'll welcome anybody with open arms. I mean, I'm in a couple of different groups now, and you know, you may not immediately gain business out of it, but the more you can plug yourself and the more that you can associate your craft with your name and your face, the better your business is going to do. So, I mean, I could name so many groups. You can get on Facebook. I mean, if you're out there and listening to this, just go to Facebook, type in small business groups. There's so many of them. One of the ones that's really big time up and comer, we don't call it a networking group. They call it, what's the word that he uses? My mind just went blank. I can't remember the word that he uses, but don't call it a networking group because they'll get upset with you.
Okay.
It's called the Afterglow.
Okay.
It's in Crowley.
Yeah.
A good friend of ours, Chris Bohan, he was just there this past Friday, gracing his presence. Love Chris, awesome dude. He came and checked it out. But it's so cool because it's collaboration over competition. Right? Everybody's trying to make money and support their family and their vision and their future, right? We all are. But regardless if we're both fence contractors, there's no reason to fight over it. We can collaborate over it, right? We can figure out, hey, what are you doing that's working for you? Well, this is what I'm doing that's working for me. You know, what have you done that hadn't worked? Yeah. Well, this is what, you know, and you collaborate with each other as opposed to being this big, humongous competition. And there are so many people in this thing that are, you know, from contractors to real estate people to pastors. I mean, just a plethora of different you know, careers and different types of things that people are involved in, and they all collectively come together. And it's more like it reminds me kind of like a pep rally, like it gets you fired up to go out, because business can beat you down, let's be honest. Business can beat you down, customers can beat you down, employees can be a lot. All those things that kind of weigh on you. You need a release. You need to be able to be free from that. You know, it's okay to carry it for a little bit, but eventually you got to let it go. They've started an awesome program right over in Crowley.
Okay.
And
who puts it on?
The Jonathan Cook team.
Okay.
He's a real estate agent here in town, from here, local guy just like us. But it is a game changer. It's Christ driven. So you know, it's not just about business or how to be the best at business. It's more about fulfilling you with encouragement so that you can go out and be the best for your business.
Okay.
And then collaborating with people. You know, there's so many different avenues. You know, hey, there's a guy there, I don't remember the name of his business, but I do remember his phone number. Okay. He cleans up pet matter.
Okay.
I don't know the right word to use.
Sure.
But everybody's pet goes, right? Yeah. He cleans that up. His phone number is 1-800-DOG poop.
Okay. Well, that's
hard to forget, right? But awesome. You know what I mean? Like, how many times have you gone in your backyard and been like, oh my gosh, I got to get out here and pick all this stuff up? Right. There's a guy for that. Who would have thought?
Hey, yeah.
Right? There's, you know, guys with pools. There's real estate agents. There's counselors. I mean, there's all kinds of awesome people that you can connect with. And you never know when they're going to call and need you for your service that you provide, right? Or plug you in, you know, on some of their social media platforms and hey, this is exclusively who we do business with. You know, hey, you need some screen printing done, or you need, you know, some stickers made, you need your car wrapped, you need some awesome stuff for business. Matt Davis, he's your guy. You know, there could be 500 graphics companies within DFW, but there's only one that's your go-to in Burleson. That's Matt Davis. You see what I'm saying there? Oh, yeah. So they do that stuff for you without you even asking. Yeah. All you got to do is show up. Yeah. How cool is that?
That's awesome.
You know, I know when I first started my business, this is funny, true story. I spent a ton of money on a billboard. Okay. I thought a billboard would generate business. Yeah. You know, I could put my logo up there, put my number, all the things. You know how many calls I got off that billboard?
How many?
This many.
Big old goose egg.
This many. I got goose egged on the billboard. Had it up 3 months. I spent about almost $2,000 on renting that space. Zero. I've been to a few of these meetings, you know, and not just necessarily the Afterglow. There's a lot here in town. Over the years, I've been to so many and generate more business just by being out in the community and meeting people than just hoping that somebody drives by and dials a phone number that they see. Yeah. It's amazing when you get out there and you really plug yourself.
When you're connected.
When you're connected, plug into those things and let those people help you. They want to help you. I was one of those guys that I would kind of feel like nobody wanted me to win. It's like, oh, you know, he's my competitor, or no, you know, they're doing this and they're not interested in me. And you know, you get those thoughts in your head where they kind of beat you down, and it's actually the exact opposite. You know, I think that's kind of the enemy playing on you and kind of stopping the blessing that you have coming. Yeah. Because if you get out there and you know, don't give up, blessings are coming, no doubt about it. No doubt.
There you go. I like it. Well, cool, man. Well, yeah. Thank you again. I mean, coming in and spending a little time on this beautiful rainy day that we've got.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, all right. So Nathan Uranga, Trophy First Fence and Construction, and check him out. This is a good dude. He will take care of you.
We'll take care of you. We have a Facebook. Find us on Facebook.
Yeah. We'll put that.
I'm a little illiterate when it comes to the TikTok. I don't have the TikTok.
Okay.
So you won't find me on the TikTok. But I'm learning. I've got to find somebody to help me catch myself up to speed with the socials nowadays.
Okay. Yeah.
And the X. It's not Twitter
It's
anymore.
not Twitter
it's X.
anymore. Yeah.
So do you make tweets or do you send X's?
I don't.
See, that's
You,
I'm so
you
confused.
find out. You let me know. 'Cause
I don't have one. I don't know. But if you need me, Facebook's where
There
to
you
go. Facebook.